Hey everybody, it's video 44 coming at you with another video. So I had something on my mind I wanted to just kind of weigh in on. A very disturbing story that I heard about. Um, Mrs. Jacqueline Avant was shot in her home in an alleged home invasion. Jacqueline Avant was long time wife of legendary industry don Clarence Avant, and he has a very extensive documentary out on Netflix that I was able to watch and become familiar with him. Um, First of all, I want to send condolences before I jump into any thoughts. Just complete and utter devastation there. The lady was um, 81 years of age, man, and she's in her home, and this took place, and I'm very curious to know about what will transpire in regards to surveillance footage. Will that be available to the authorities? Never mind if my eyes can see it, but what's up with the surveillance? Were they able to get footage of whom and what? Was this a home invasion or was this something else? And the reason why I'm saying is this something else is because I watched the documentary. You know, Mr. Clarence Avant was friends and close to some of the most prominent individuals on this earth. And the way it was described in the documentary was he was a very special, enigmatic personality who brought others together and was able to formulate solutions to great problems. You know, in terms of like being able to put people together, negotiating deals, just being like a perfect cog to different various machines that connect to different very important moments that have taken place over the last 60 years. And I'm not just talking about in the music industry, I'm talking about in just various different sectors of the world. He has been involved. He's one of the most enigmatic figures on the earth today, according to the documentary, because of the fact that he was able to be so prominent within the music industry and then able to use his tentacles to touch other areas and connect other people and various different things. It's endless what this man was able to do. If he were like a entity that wasn't human, it would be like something that takes the form of everything and is able to connect things that otherwise don't fit. He's like the glue that connects two missing pieces that otherwise wouldn't have any reason to connect, but he can bring them together and make them do great things. It's like that's what he was able to do. And so in situations like this, where someone just steps into his home and does this horrible thing, a mind like mine is going to wonder if something else is going on. I'm not anything but a civilian, but I'm definitely of a mindset where, you know, I understand that other things can be going on in situations like this. When somebody's this important, it shouldn't be this easy to walk into their home and do something like this. And it was, you know, a situation where I just have a lot of questions. So, a lot of speculation's been going around. I've been hearing different things. People saying the security was on tab. That was in one of the reports, but no fire was returned, and that seems very strange to me. This took place in Beverly Hills. I don't know if home invasions are prevalent in Beverly Hills, but I know they're very prevalent in the Hollywood Hills, and obviously that's very close to one another, so clearly it's something to be concerned with. But it's just one of those things where it's like, why did they stumble into that home, and why did they do that to this individual? See, she could not have possibly been a threat to anyone, and nothing was stolen. So that is very concerning. Now, granted, you could see a scenario where, you know, some people walk in there on some home invasion type of mission and see her, and it's dark and they don't know, so they just, you know, there are ways this could have happened that it isn't completely and utterly conspiracy-ish stuff. But cut and dry, y'all. Everything about Mr. Clarence Avant is conspiracy stuff. It's like he is the thing that goes bump in the night. If you're someone like myself who watched that documentary, I'm like, well, shoot, this dude couldn't sing a lick, but he was everywhere. He wasn't in politics, but he was next to politicians. He wasn't a car maker, but he was in the midst of car deals and stuff. It's like, what was the talent? The talent was the person. I'm like, nah, that's not how this world works. So I've always been just very curious as to how Mr. Clarence Avant moved. As somebody is just a civilian, sitting in his own apartment. Hearing his story, it's like 3 people in this world who could have done what he did. Things that he was able to accomplish. Maybe 3 human beings in the history of the world could have done these things, and it's like now someone walks into his house and does this to his wife. At this stage in his life? No. My brain tells me that maybe there's some more to learn about what could be going on, and that maybe those answers will not be available to us ever. It's one of those type of things that I just think that, sometimes conspiracy theories are hogwash and you should just toss them away, and other times there are things about a circumstance that makes you say, well, there's no other way to look at it but through a conspiracy theorist lens, because of who's involved and how they've been described to all of us. So that's this for me. I'm going to leave my mind open for this to be a simple home invasion, but I'm going to tell you that I'm looking forward to find out more details, and I'm looking at this through a conspiracy theorist lens, because first of all, they shouldn't have been able to even get to her. With who he is and who he's connected to, his home should have been protected. You know what I mean? Like literally protected. When I say industry don, I mean like he's so intertwined, or at least it was described he's so intertwined to where his interests are wrapped up in a lot of different people's interests, or at least it used to be. A lot of friends, a lot of favors, that kind of thing, in a million different places. So put it like this: if this was a home invasion and these were just some regular broke people who just decided to just walk into that house, not only will they be caught, they're gonna be probably pressed a little further than the fullest extent of the law. And that's just that. That's how I perceive that. I don't know that who they did this to. That's all I gotta say. And then you think about, like, I'm seeing the conspiracy theorists in the comments and like, oh, the Ghislaine Maxwell, trial is going on, and now all kinds of stuff is happening. Different people who've passed away have been intertwined in this different thing, and they're saying that Mr. Clarence is involved, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. All I know is I saw the documentary on that too, and there's a lot of unanswered questions there, and if that trial is going on, you certainly don't hear enough about it. Scratch and sniff. If there's something to smell, scratch there. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, this does not feel like a home invasion to me. That's what I will say. I don't like the fact that they were able to get to her with security on the premises, and no security was able to return fire. If that was true, that is very strange. I would love to know if it was by request that they didn't have firearms, and if so, why are you paying for security? And that's coming from somebody who's done security for many years. I don't necessarily have any experience with firearms as a professional. I did train a little bit, but I understand that certain details require you to be armed, and that particular detail is definitely an armed detail. The high profile home in those hours, you don't have a heat. That's not, I don't know what type of security business runs their business that way. That's what I will say. I would not. My guards, if I were a business owner in that regard, my guards would be armed in that detail, unless requested to not be. And then if that case, I would up the price quite a bit, because home invasions, again, it's a thing. Like, it is a thing. We saw this with Pop Smoke. That was a setup. I believe that was a setup. And it's one of those situations where it's like, man, this feels like it was probably something similar, a setup of some sort. Um, you know, and you just feel bad, man. But I tell you, they're gonna get to the bottom of it. Whoever did this, I'm pretty sure Mr. Avant's supporters and friends and his loved ones will find them. They will find them. So yeah, that's what I will say about that. It's hurtful though. Just thinking about it, I don't, I don't even want to think about it. You understand that this was a mother, it's a wife, this was a philanthropist. I didn't read up on her, but I know that she did quite a bit in her life for it to end in this way, regardless of what the details are or who's doing what. It's not supposed to be that way. And you hear about it, not just in this case, but so many times when just elderly people losing their lives in senseless violence and stuff like that, and you just understand it. So a lot of these things don't have an answer. There's no way to wrap your mind around it. You can't really just try to make sense of it. There is no sense to be made. You just must protect yourself and protect your home. And that's what it really comes down to. May this be a lesson to all of us in every facet of walking life. You gotta protect your home. I understand not, maybe he didn't want a firearm in his home. Maybe he wanted his guards there, but he didn't think it was that type of, it would be best for them to be armed around his wife. Maybe. I could see something like that being the case, but I just don't think that's the way to go. I think that if that's what was going on there, now the lesson is learned for everyone else. Like, nah, let the professionals have what it takes to do what it is they need to do. That's what I will say. That's what I can say. If you're gonna hire security, let them be security. Let them do the job. Give them what they need so that they can do the job, because there's nothing worse than being a guard in a situation like that, and then you lose who you're supposed to be watching over. Like, that's their job, to make sure that whatever took place in that home didn't happen, and they were not able to accomplish that for whatever set of reasons. That's a failure on their part, and I know they see it as such. So that's what I will say. It is what it is from that perspective. So yeah, man, BDF 44 here. I thank you guys for hearing my thoughts in regards to the circumstance. This is not a minor topic. A lot of what I talk about is, but this ain't that. I have elderly ladies in my family, some of whom are already with the Lord now, and I just have been fortunate enough to never lose any of them in this way. And I don't wish that for anybody, and I don't blame anyone for feeling whatever they're gonna feel in regards to something like this, because this is unfathomable, and you just want to protect our elderly. I think that's what I want to say. We don't say that here on this channel. We don't talk too much about it, but it's just very important that innocents be protected. People who are not in position to protect themselves, it's just amongst all of us as a village to protect them. And I feel like Miss Avant may have been failed in that way. It just is what it is, and you don't really see a solution. Obviously, if people are going to run into your home, you know what I mean, even if you have a gun, sometimes you're just going to find yourself trying to protect yourself as best you can. But at the very least, when you hear about someone who's at this age, you just want to make sure now, from here on out, that we do what we can to protect our elderly. Do what we can. So that's what I got, man. That's what I got to say. Prayers out to the entire Avant family during this heinous and difficult time. That's I would love to know more about the lady so I could speak to her character. I just am not aware. But what I can say is, she did not deserve this. She did not deserve this. My name is BDF 44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.